Good afternoon, everyone. Food prices across the planet skyrocket in addition to the United States. Is it weather anomalies or is it land usage? What's causing all of this inflation in our food? Let's take a look at it. Jumping over to Croatia, Croatians boycotting supermarkets in big numbers because of food prices. Food inflation, as you'll see, first sentence, 33%, but that was in 2020. Now people are angry because these food prices have kept rising from that time every single year. And over the last 12 months to this point, bread's up 61%, eggs 63%, vegetables 44%, meat almost 40%, 36%. And now they're at the point of saying, by March 1st, if you don't lower your prices, we are going to boycott supermarkets and go exclusively to local farmers and local markets. They're starting to realize powers with the people on the food pricing because these supermarkets can't stay in business if a majority of their customers are going to find local and go out of their way to find other alternatives to going into these markets. A full 1 month period, that could absolutely bankrupt these companies, but we'll see. Also, this article, why bread in Croatia is 15 more expensive than the European average. Great question, because it used to be one of the most affordable places and one of my favorite places to travel in Europe. Why bread in Croatia is more expensive? Let's look at the blue sections I highlighted below. It's unexpected and there's no real driver for the prices. They're like, how is this continuing? Now it's to the point where it's becoming unaffordable for most average citizens. Now see, this is the rollover point I talked about yesterday's video with the eggs and food prices in America. Once it reaches a tipping point, we start to get into societal unrest. No reason for it. It's just, are they gouging? That is the question. In plenty of areas here, local farmers are growing, so the populace is returning back to their roots away from the supermarkets as we had done in World War II. Here's the arable land, farmlands in Croatia growing grain crops. And the reason I picked that up here is during that same bevy of articles, like why is everything getting so expensive? Why are they boycotting supermarkets? 2023 average price of a hectare, 11,000 euro, almost 12,000. And in Croatia, it's 4,000. So that's far below the average price. So they're going, wait a minute, now your land costs less. I know there's more restrictions now that Croatia joined the EU and they moved to the euro. Okay, I get it, but something doesn't make sense why these prices have risen so greatly, and people are really starting to question it, as they should. But the average prices of arable land here in the EU, I want to look at this passage. Malta, small island, so about $250,000 per hectare. Netherlands, getting up to 178,000. But remember, they removed all of the cattle farms out of there. So everywhere we're looking at very high. Austria, Spain, when you start to look at these higher prices, Greece, these are the highest prices for arable land. And we can see some of the movements to ask farmers to stop growing produce. And I know in Greece and Spain, they had cut down an enormous amount of olive trees to make way for renewables. A cutting-edge 2024 study reveals nearly half of all adults in the United States have high blood pressure. According to the CDC, only about 1 in 4 adults have their blood pressure under control, putting millions of people like you and me at risk of heart disease and stroke. It might seem like an uphill battle, but taking control of your heart health doesn't have to be complicated. That's why I started using this natural product to help manage my blood pressure. It's a triple action formula packed with clinically proven all-natural ingredients like white mulberry leaf and cinnamon bark powder. This powerful formulation is designed to support balanced blood sugar levels and healthy weight like nothing else out there. And thousands like myself wouldn't go a day without it. Do your body a favor and grab it today while it's 40% off during their holiday special only at boostwith2030.com. That's boostwith2030.com. Plus order today and your delivery will be rushed at no additional cost. Once again, that's boostwith2030.com. Click on that link in the description box below. Now, is there an answer to this? No. That's the whole reason everybody's so upset and asking questions. How can everything go up so fast, so quickly? I was in Croatia during the time when it was the very last day they could use the kuna, when it was turning over into the euro exclusive, and then all the prices got incredibly expensive pretty much overnight. People were complaining at that point. It's gone way above that since last year. Now, what is driving the prices? We're seeing the same things here in America with the egg shortages. They culled 100 million birds. So lack of meat birds for your chicken and also the egg production. That explains a lot of it. We've had a huge amount of fires in the food processing plants, not only in America, but all through Europe, Australia. Everywhere there's massive food production, we even had potato processing facilities burned to the ground, just ash. Explain that one to me, how 1,000 tons of potato turns into ash on the ground. Some things are just like in the woo-woo land there, but it does explain away. Now, the land prices don't, unless the land is being purposely taken offline. We're seeing a lot of that around the world too. So it's this, adding up. It's like it's almost at the point of the straw breaking the camel's back right now in terms of this is the second country. And I'll show you another one. We're going to be at the third country where food prices are now starting to tip into civil unrest. And staying in the Middle East, North Africa, dropping you down to Nigeria. Price of a bag of local rice rising 152%. But if you take it back to September of 2023, which is only just a couple years ago, it was 37,000. Now it's 95,000. They are getting angry. They are protesting on the street. And then we swing down to South Africa. Food security, again, protests because of high food prices soaring above the headline inflation averages. And as in yesterday's video, I was showing that the inflation-adjusted averages for us in the United States are 2.5%. And I was shaking my head. There's no way 2.5%. Really? They say that with a straight face? Well, same thing's happening in South Africa. They print a certain inflation rate that's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable. So the same thing's happening in South Africa, but they have a little more limited economy. Their corn crop this year for export absolutely got smashed to the point they need to import corn. They used to be a major exporter for the rest of Africa. So South Africa would way overproduce, and they would send mainly inter-Africa to other nations that would buy their corn. But this year, their production is so low that they have to import corn. So then, where are these other countries within Africa going to get the corn if South Africa is not going to supply it? This also is creating havoc within the market because maize is a staple crop there that you do pound out and make a paste and then eat that with dinner. So their entire lives are being uprooted by food prices right now too. Why is it? We see the same fingerprint, do we not? How many places what's the reason that rice has gone up 1.5 times in Nigeria? So if that cost you $1 before, now it costs you $2.50. What's the reason that the rice is so expensive? And it was 37,000 and then 94,000 now. So what's up with that doubling plus there as well? Any reasons behind it? They never give you the excuses. It's not from bad harvest because they need to import a lot of it from different places. What's happening in those places too? The same excuses they're giving us for all these other places. So we're getting into this roundabout here of he said, she said, he said, of why everything's discombobulated, doesn't work anymore, and everything's just skyrocketing in price. But they always point the finger to the next country, the next importer, the next exporter, the next inflation rate. And we never get solid answers. I could see why everybody's getting a little bit agitated across the planet about their food prices. And speaking of food, 1935 Japan, that is some serious skill. But notice how well kept in 1935 the background cityscape is. And looking at other causations, maybe why the food price is rising. Welcome to your morning sky. Beautiful and a little bit overcast, as the Weather Channel would tell us on this one here. Morocco, rare snowfall, but this is in the lowlands. They haven't had snow there in some 50 years. So we see a lot more precipitation coming across the Sahel and West Africa. So this is an anomaly in itself. It snows in the mountains every year, don't get me wrong, but this low, at this vast of a depth, it's really making a lot of news. Then we go down to Argentina. We check out some kind of saucer clouds. I'm not exactly sure how those form or how common they are. I don't remember ever seeing anything that precise on the disc shape before, but hey, things happen all the time in nature. Then we got the strange fog over LA. Now, could it be due to the smoke and the wildfires over the last few weeks and month? Could be, but this same strange fog has been reported everywhere across the planet. Over to record-breaking rains, Queensland. Can you see that white there? That's literally off the chart. Cyclone making landfall there, and they had, some reports are saying 6 months of rain in 3 days. Others are saying just plain months worth of rain. So we'll see how this pans out at the end when the actual numbers come in. And here's Mecca, Saudi Arabia, just a few days back. Yeah, I said that again, Mecca, Saudi Arabia, and you can see the types of water that they don't have really the drainage for because they don't get that much rain. And speaking of rains, hailstorm turns into a flowing river in the desert. Same, Saudi Arabia, just outside Mecca. So that area is changing. As it was with the frankincense roots, circa 800 AD, very wet and lush area. And for those of you who follow me on Patreon, a subscribe started the community over here. Last couple posts, and I posted this one here before I'm doing the video. So a lot of the things that I'm working on, I throw them up first before I even do any of the videos. Join me over there. A lot of people writing comments back and forth, especially talking about these food prices, egg prices, etc. And also, join us for the Civilization Cycle podcast, Ransom Godwin and myself, over on YouTube, Civilization Cycle podcast channel, and Rumble, the Civilization podcast channel. We broadcast there live every Thursday night, 10 p.m. to midnight. I do appreciate watching. Hope you got something out of the video. See you next time. Bye for now.